I've been a full-time reseller for 4 months now.
I'm no longer employed.
I bought these doorknobs, these instruments, these breakers and switches, board games, vintage electronics, and security supplies. But what happened in month number 4?
Alright, so it is the first day of month number 4.
Week 1 starts off right into the sales, where I sold 3 doorknobs for $55. But as soon as I packed them, I realized this.
It was $50 with free shipping, so I would have known that I probably would have countered. But the thing is, that was the guy that bought like 60 doorknobs off me for $450 plus shipping. I made a lot of money off the doorknobs. I made a lot of money off that particular customer. You can't sweat the small stuff.
Later on that day, I went to the thrift store to see what they had. Unfortunately, skunked. Just $1.50 for these games, and also
they had local grown garlic in there for 50 cents each. So I got them too. That doesn't really count, but...
Then I continued to go through the telecom stuff that I had bought the week before. But before it could be listed, it had to be cleaned.
So I'm just going through and cleaning up some of this stuff. I don't know if you can see in there, but I've been going through like each one of these things. But that's like the reality of like what I do is like cleaning this up. I use Clorox wipes,
which was super time consuming. Then later on, I had a few small sales, this faucet for $50 and a t-shirt for $10. So I packed them up and got right back to listing. But that's when I realized this.
Draft banking has changed my whole life. For about the past month or so, I've been listing 5 to 10 items every day. Now, my process previously was to go through the pile of unlisted stuff, pull out 5 to 10 things that I wanted to list them and put them live every single day. That's what I would do. But that's all I would do is the 5 to 10 items a day. However, that was all I was able to do as well. I would have a mental block, I don't know what you'd call it, where I would overthink every listing I put up. Oh man, should I have done that differently? Is the pricing right? I don't know if it's listed right. So it would kind of stop me. I would be very selective about what I listed, all different stuff. Draft banking has really eliminated that pressure. So I am almost done with these parts, or for the most part. I have most things draft banked, and a lot of the little stuff has at least been gone through. But just to give you an idea of how much labor I have into this so far, however long Ozark is, because I never watched that show before and I put it on when I got home with this stuff. I'm on the 4th season now, which is the last one. I can't consider it work if I'm able to have the TV on while I'm doing it. So that's what it takes. Like, that's how much time goes into this stuff. All right, so I had 2 little sales earlier today. This measuring cup, this came with the pasta maker. $15 this thing sold for with free shipping, but it's finally cost me like $4 to ship it. Not worried about that. Here's already made more than double my money back in less than a week, and it's all easy. And a pair of shorts.
But my mood quickly changed when I saw this happen.
I just got a neutral feedback, which I never have gotten before. But with that being said, the person never tried to reach out to me. What they said is factually untrue. They said I advertised it as an adult size large. It was actually youth size large. No, it wasn't. It was an adult size large. I got it from an adult male. So I actually went back and confirmed this because I looked at the original photos and saw that it says CN 180. Now, if I look that up, that translates to US men's size large. I mean, that guy's an idiot.
The next day was super nice.
I walked, it's like 60 degrees in the end of February, which is crazy. But there was actually a free bin, and I got to pull this out of it. Somebody had in front of their trash. It's in nice shape. It's Al Capone, no comment. Because, I mean, look at this thing. One strap backpack. Like, Italians can't have nothing in this country. It is just kind of like, come on. You think that Al Capone was alive today, he'd be wearing that? Never heard of that before, never heard of that brand, but it's in nice shape. I'm thinking I'm going to charge like $15 plus shipping. No message back from Mr. Neutral feedback. Nothing good going on, to be honest with you. But I wonder if he knows who I am. That's the reason why I don't share my eBay is because like there is just idiots out there like that are going to like buy something just to leave me negative feedback, you know? I know it sounds very self-important, but there are idiots like that. Like, I could never imagine spending my money to, like, just so I could...
And while doing my daily Facebook market scroll, I came across something quite interesting.
I don't know if this is relevant at all, but I went on Facebook Marketplace, and there's actually 2 decent things, but there's one lot of, like, studio equipment. So it looks like there's, like, mixers and equalizers and stuff like that. And we know that I kind of do some of that stuff. So the guy said he wants to get $1,000 for it. That's what he has into it. There's a lot of stuff, blah, 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 blah. Tough thing is space. So I did call, there's a storage place not too far from me. Called and got their rates. There's no electricity inside. So it looks like everything's just under $1 a square foot, which is honestly like half the price of an apartment, realistically. It's not cheap. Like, you think storage units are cheap, but they're not.
So I made plans to look at it the next day.
So I just got back from looking at all that audio gear. So I told the guy basically, like, I want everything except for the speaker cabinets, because there's a bunch of speaker cabinets there. I'll give you $500 for it. And he's like, oh, let me think about it. I got another guy coming to look at it. I was like, yeah, dude, do what you want to do. So I'm just not too excited about it. There's probably is money there, but it's just a lot of work, a lot of cleaning, custom packaging, all that kind of stuff. It's all big, and also it's a big risk. You don't know really like what all is there, and some of it's like, you know, older DJ equipment after vinyl but before modern stuff, so it just isn't really that well used. And there's a couple big mixing boards, like 24 channel mixing board, so you get to go through and make sure all the amps and the EQs and everything work. He needs the space back. He wants $1,000 for everything, so we'll see. I'm not like that excited. I have way too much shit here. I just kind of out of room, and then also was on the second floor of his garage, no staircase, so everything has to be brought down up and down with a ladder. And it's just like, come on, dude. So that's the other thing. And also, like, some of those big speakers probably wouldn't even fit my car. Just overall, it just seems like a big old pain in the ass. But I told the guy, I was like, listen, you know, I completely understand where you're coming from. I just don't have the room for it all. And then the other thing is just like not that interested. And there's definitely money there. There's probably $2,000 worth of shit like that I would be buying. You know, you're buying yourself a job. Speaker cabinets, I told him, like, dude, you could get easily another $1,000 for it if you just sold them in pairs. I did have a little Mercari sale from the board game lot for like $16.
But I didn't realize that free shipping was turned on. Idiot.
I just shipped this, weighs 13 ounces, and it's a tiny little package. And so I used pirate ship for the first time ever, and everybody's always like, oh, pirate ship's so good. It was $6 to ship that Grand Advantage. On eBay, that would have been $3 or $4. It's only going to Connecticut. It's nothing.
As soon as I got the label on,
I wound up making an agreement with the guy for $600 for the stuff. It's like starting to rain right now. It's going to be super cold tomorrow. And I'm like, I can get some of the stuff out of there today. I don't know if I'll get all of it, but I'll try my best. It's just like, I don't want to deal with it in the rain, but I'll at least get you paid and all that kind of shit.
so I went right away to secure my purchase.
Alrighty, the back seat's full, the trunk is full, it's some heavy stuff. It's gonna be really windy today. Still have a bunch more stuff over there to go through. I mean, I don't know, I think I got a good amount. Wednesday right now, I told him I was gonna go back over there on Saturday, and I also told him, listen man, with all the stuff that I didn't buy, I'll sit here and I'll make the Facebook Marketplace listings, because it's only gonna take me an hour to do it, and you know, whatever. I feel weird, you know, picking the bones and not leaving the guy with some. Maybe start unloading it, and the thing is, my house is so full with stuff.
I started taking things out of the car piece by piece as I was really running low on space. I started off with these tape players, and while I initially felt good about my purchase, that night...
Alright, so pretty much all of the profit I made last month is gone.
But then I started to realize this lesson.
As I talk about the honesty that I have with everybody that I buy from. And there typically is, at least in the reselling culture that I've seen, is people being not even deceitful or dishonest, but more so just being kind of like quiet about what their intentions are. And I'm going to use today as an example of why I think that might be wrong. So I'm upfront with everybody. Because of that, it also gives me the ability to tell them the truth, right? I told the guy from the second we got in the door that he was like, oh, I bet you, I was telling my son that if he sold all this stuff on eBay, that he can make a lot of money. And so I was like, actually, yeah, that's what my plan is too. Instead, I explained to him what the challenges are and everything you'd have to go through in order to do that. I'm like, like some of this stuff, you're never gonna be able to get a box for it. It's just too big. You're gonna have to build a custom crate. Kind of explain to him some of the challenges, like of what actually goes into it. And at the end, I told him, at first he said no to my offer, but I told him, I'm like, look, man, if you want to sell this stuff yourself, he lives right down the road. I'm like, I'll help you with it. I'll give you any advice that you need. No problem. Because the reality is like, if you're not set up for it, and even if you are set up for it, it's hard. It's labor. That guy owned a small engine repair place, and so he's in business. He understands. He wants it gone. He doesn't want to deal with it. Those guys I met with last week for the security stuff, I showed him the prices on eBay, what stuff was selling for. I was like, it's selling for $100 with free shipping. Then I backed out those numbers. I'm going to be down to about $60. So I'm going to pay 20 a piece for it. That's like where I'm at, They can either say yes or no, but like just being able to be honest with people and being upfront. Number one, you build more trust, but also like it gives you the ability to make a better case because like, yes, I'm in business to make money. Every single person I've ever dealt with knows that. And that was the other thing too, with all the stuff today. I told the guy, I was like, this is how you test it. Go through each one of those channels on those mixing boards, plug in a microphone to each one, try out the EQ. Like, I'm trying to educate him, like, if he wants to, but at the same time, I'm explaining to him all the work that has to go into this stuff. But a lot of times, too, like, I don't know what all I'm buying. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip. So I just try to make good decisions as best I can.
The next day was right back to the grind cleaning gear, and later that morning,
it's about 7 o'clock on, and going through that electronic stuff I bought yesterday. But you can see how dirty this all is. So I'm using a toothbrush, scrubbing it, and then getting off the dirt, and it looks a lot better. I mean, it's not spotless, but proof quarters that I have. Somebody sent me an offer. I was asking $23.99. Somebody sent me an offer for $15. So I responded $19.99. Then I saw like a bunch of notifications. So it was all the same buyer. They wanted to buy all of them for $15 a piece. And I'm like, told them, I'm like, dude, I'll sell them all to you. So it's only one package. 5 of these at $15 a piece is $75, I think. So $5 or $6 to ship it. Not too big of a deal. It's basically the same thing. Like I would have sold it for $19.99 with free shipping for one. It's going to cost me, $4 or $5 to ship it. Works out to be about the same.
But then I ran into my first big holdup.
So I'm testing out some of this equipment here. Pretty much worked good all the way through. The only issue is I haven't been able to try out the microphone inputs. So the XLR inputs, which are those down there. And this is like a little bit of inside baseball. As we can see, I have this Rode NT1A. Now the issue with that is it's a condenser microphone. Now condenser microphones require something called power, which means that it sends actual voltage to the microphone. In that case, it's 48 volts, and that's pretty typical. I don't believe that mixing board has power on board, so you need something called a dynamic microphone. Really, I don't have a way to sort of test that out. Super annoying. So maybe I can borrow one from somebody.
So we'd have to skip that step and start working on other equipment.
I'm just going through and cleaning up some of this stuff. Kind of already has been cleaned, but as you can see, I took off all of the knobs, but you can see some of the spots I haven't cleaned yet. So that all has to be done with a Q-tip and rubbing alcohol. And all of the knobs, I put into this pickle jar with warm water and soap.
Another sale in between.
Just sold this. $15 or something, I don't know.
And I was right back to it.
Well, I had to clean up all these knobs individually, take them out, and then go around the rims with a Q-tip. As you can see, dirt out of there as best I could. And then also in there, those are like super dirty in those lines inside those cracks. So it looks a lot better than it did. Now, this isn't perfect either. I kind of cleaned up pretty well. It's not dirty anymore. I don't know if you can see this, but some of these are bent, and so they all have to be straightened out. But that one's really bad, but there's other ones. So I'm going to try to take a pair of pliers and just kind of gently persuade them back into place.
This work was exhausting, and in those circumstances, minor frustrations turn into big headaches.
If only today couldn't get any worse. It's not that bad, but it is kind of. I had listed a doorknob that I found that was missing a key, and somehow the listing had free shipping on it. I didn't even realize it. And some guy just bought it, and it's more to ship it than he paid. Come on.
But I decided just to pack it up and send it out. And luckily,
I just sold a pair of shorts. As much as I'd like to get bigger, higher dollar stuff sold, because obviously it's more money. Junk you make more money on, number one, and it all needs to go, right? Like the better stuff, like all my vintage audio stuff, like somebody will buy that. There's not a question. It might be a cheaper price, but there is a buyer out there for it. So when somebody buys junk, you make a lot higher profit margins. And I'm honestly just happy to see it go, because it's like you never know when it's going to sell.
But after 3 full days, my car was finally unpacked. But
so I'm completely full with stuff. I mean, it's kind of an ongoing problem, but then I got the audio equipment stuff. It's a big mess.
So it was the last day of the week, and sales really hadn't been that good. I just been grinding away without seeing any of the fruits of my labor. That is until that night.
Went to the gym. My physique has already fallen off too much. What was there? I got an offer for 3 locks. Door locks. Doorknobs. Locks. I got an offer for 3 of them for $50 plus shipping, which I took. And then also, somebody sent me an offer for that record player upstairs for $50 plus shipping. I think I was asking 70. I think I just kind of made that up because I couldn't find the comp. But dude, I need it out of here. It takes up way too much room and I have all this new stuff coming in. So please take it.
I needed to get them out the next day to make room for the rest of the gear. So even though it was 10 o'clock at night, I started packing.
Oh yeah. I go back over to my phone and I found out that the tape machine sold on Reverb for like 400 and something bucks. So man, so what is that, like $600 today in sales? Not bad at all.
So I started packing that up, and it certainly wasn't easy. At 40 pounds and super delicate, things got even more hectic.
And so it just keeps going. But while that was happening, I wound up selling another part of that pasta maker for like $24 plus shipping. So I'm gonna have to do that too.
I was a bit overwhelmed, to say the least.
Surprisingly cheap. I priced it at $90. That's what the guy paid for, a flat rate. Cost me $42 to get it, to ship it to him, the UPS ground. I've shipped everything except for the thing I actually have to ship, which is this turntable right here. And that needs to go out tomorrow.
So I got back to work for the next half hour. I had to figure out how to pack it up so it wouldn't get damaged.
Alrighty, I think that's pretty much good. So I was just looking on Reverb. Makes me a little bit sad. The guy bought that with Affirm, which I don't know if you don't know, but it's basically a financing company for online purchases. Don't ever do that stuff. The only reason I'm able to do what I'm doing right now is because I have zero consumer debt whatsoever. No credit cards, car loans, student loans, anything like that. And that's literally the worst type because number one, it's super high interest rates. I bet you the guy's paying 30% on that $600. But then also on top of that, it's for junk. All right, it is now about midnight. I'm just ready for bed. Luckily, I got all that stuff packed. All I have to do tomorrow is just find a box or build a box for that turntable.
And with all the money came a bunch of work. But the outlook for week 2 didn't seem like it would get any easier. Week 2, and I'm up at 7.
That mixing console that I spent all day cleaning the other day, I listed it this morning for $125, and it's not even an hour later, and I got an offer for $100, which I accepted because I just have too much stuff going on in here. But I'm not going to be able to pack that today.
Because even though I went to bed late that night, I had a long day ahead. I had to pack the turntable, plus now the mixer, but then I had to ship everything right away because later that morning, I'd have to go get the remainder of the stuff I had bought last week. And I couldn't even fit it all in one trip.
All right, we are finally back. I need to get a storage unit pronto because look at, third trip, and it just is like too much stuff in my house. And I'm also concerned about the weight. It's a lot of weight when you think about it, it's thousands of pounds. And why wouldn't I at this point? I don't think they're open today, but maybe. I just made a commitment to get a storage unit. I don't like spreading myself too thin. Like I said, I can start using it immediately. Man, maybe I'll just go unload my car right into that place. Here we are. Especially if I get shelves, I can fit a lot of stuff in here. But for the time being, just to get some of the bigger stuff out of my house, something I needed to do for a while. Here we are.
It actually took 3 carloads to get the entirety of the lot. So while some of it was in storage, I still had a bunch of stuff back home. And now it's time to go through and clean, test, and list it all.
Let's see how dirty it all is. I want to come through with some wipes and just do a preliminary clean on all this stuff. I just got majority of the dust all in one shot while it's all sitting here. 3 o'clock right now. My day started at 7 a.m. and I have yet to eat yet. I got a lot done.
But then I sold the board game for $25 plus shipping. So I packed that up.
While I was there the first time, the guy was like, hey, do you want... Actually, I went there a total of 4 times. Once to look at it, the second time to go back and pay for it and pick up the first load, second load, the third load. So it's been a wild adventure. I'm glad that we're kind of have everything under control and just needs to be gone through. Because it was a pain getting it all. That guy has shit to do too. You know what I mean? Like, I can't make $600, his whole life's work. The second time I was there, he was like, hey, I have all the cables too. Do you want them? And I opened up one of the boxes. There was like 4 totes of them. And I'm like, no, because it was just speaker wire and like maybe like a microphone cable. And I'm like, probably not. I'm like, I'll take a look when I come back, but probably not. He's like, you can have all that too. But I realized after the fact that some of the power cables were missing for some of the stuff that I bought. When I came back this time, I wanted to take it. And when I opened up one of the containers, there was a bunch of microphones in there. Now these are just like cheap. I've never heard of these, but it looks like it's a dynamic microphone. So I've never heard of any of this stuff, but they reminded me of like knockoff SM58s, kind of copied the same thing. I didn't know how many was in there, maybe 7 or 8. So I just told the guy, I was like, I'll give you another $20 because I didn't know all these microphones were in there if you want. Because I also have to test these out. I don't know if they're worth anything. And he was like, yeah, go ahead. And so I wound up getting them, but I don't know what all is in there because they're just kind of like mixed in with a bunch of cables and stuff. So I'm going to have to go through and figure that out.
And this lot had gotten my house so full that I couldn't even bring everything inside. But with how crazy this day had been, I was not even close to prepared for this.
So I just went out and saw my friends for like the first time since New Year's, basically. And while I was on my way home, a cassette deck, that brand new TEAC sold for $600 almost plus shipping. Super cool. I don't know why all this stuff is moving. I don't know if it's tax season or I just had some good luck the last couple days, but I just realized that the buyer is in Mexico. It was through an international sale and they have zero feedback at all. Is this a scam? I looked up the buyer of the cassette player last night because I wanted to see if it was a scam. But luckily, I found the guy, and he has like a master's degree. He's a professional, so I don't know. It seems a lot more plausible that he's not like a scammer. I mean, it still could be, but based on what I saw, it was like seemed like just a regular dude. It still could be. So I'm gonna take every precaution I can, documenting everything, videos, taking pictures of the serial number just so I have it all. So the other thing is, I've obviously after month one have been getting a ton of benefits with my reselling from the YouTube itself. Like people reaching out with different inventory. It's been much easier to come by stuff. But with that being said, look at what's still possible. Like I found all of this stuff. Great deal. I found this was not even 4 minutes from my house. Wound up going on Facebook Marketplace. So there really is no excuse. I live in the worst area for this kind of stuff and I'm finding it.
Later on that day, I had to test all the mics I'd gotten.
Yeah. So I just got done going through the microphones, or at least the majority of them. Now, the thing is there's so many different types of microphones. It's very challenging because a lot of them can look exactly the same, but there's so many different makes and models. And actually, there was some good ones in there. So we look right here. These are both Shure microphones. I don't know every single microphone variety, but I know like the basic popular ones that a lot of people know. If we look right here, this is, as you can see, it's a Shure Beta 87. Now, there was something like this. I tested it, and this might be like $120. I tested this as well. This is a Beta 58A, but it looks like this might be like a $70 microphone. Whereas this Audio-Technica Pro 3CH is only a $7 microphone. So it just shows you like these two on the surface look exactly the same. This one might even to a normal ear sound better, like when I talked into it. What really makes a difference is certain applications people really like specific microphones for might be really good for the underside of a snare drum. You know what I mean? Like some kind of weird miking technique, and somebody else, some other engineer used it on the Red Hot Chili Peppers album, and they're like, oh, I really like that technique. So then everybody starts using it. The other thing is, especially with the older microphones, stuff like this wasn't, that was designed as a talkback microphone. Imagine like air traffic controller or a radio DJ or something like that back in the 40s. But what happens is you can get really cool techniques with them. And also some old records were cut with really cheap microphones because that's all they had. Back in the 60s was cut using somebody's vocals was cut on using that because that's all they had. But then it became a really popular album and everybody's like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever, even though it was a really cheap microphone back then. So that's the other part of it that gets like really confusing. And if you're not in the loop and if you're not like really into it, you don't know. But luckily we're able to look stuff up. The one challenging thing is a lot of these, especially the older ones, don't have a ton of good labeling on them. So it's going to be a little bit trickier to find out.
And then later that night?
Late Sunday night. And I'm going to be honest, I was so lazy all day today. Just really tired. I haven't really like not done anything in a long time, but I just kind of wanted to today. I did some stuff. I was going to test those microphones and stuff earlier, but I never shipped the cassette box. Now, the other thing is it's in the original box, but I don't want to ship it in that box. Like I want to put another case around it because I think part of the appeal is that, you know, it's in the original box. It's going pretty far. So I want to build a box to go around that. I mean, it doesn't have to go out until 2 o'clock tomorrow, so I do have time, but I hate having like paid ship nows left open all day.
So I packed that up before finally going to bed.
This morning, I sold one of those Pringles holders. Probably one of the best thrift-store flips I've ever had. They were 5 cents each, and I sold it for $18.99 with free shipping. Man, I'm just so overwhelmed. So much stuff to do, and just like yesterday not doing anything or barely anything really kind of set me back. But it was probably good. I did definitely need, you know, a little bit of a reset. But I have packages loaded up in the car, and then I also have all the amps and mixers that I'm going to go hit the post office, and then I'm going to go hit the storage unit. So the other thing is I checked how much I made over the weekend between Friday night and this morning. I made, after fees and everything, $1,130 this weekend, which is crazy, but it's actually more scary than anything because majority of that was like 2 orders.
But I didn't have time to sit around and worry because right as I said that, this happened.
So I just got an offer a little while ago for the CD player that I have, TEAC, brand new in the box. I was asking $225 plus shipping. You got for me $150. I countered with $200. We met at $175.
Great score. But now I had to start going through all the cables I had gotten. They were all huge rat's nests, but they could definitely be sold.
So I don't know exactly how I'm going to sell those cables, but regardless of what I do, even if I don't test any of them, it's going to look so much better. Just the fact that I went through it, wrapped them up, it looks like you actually have something. Because I see other people on there trying to sell lots of audio cable, and it just looks like a big rat's nest, and you have no idea what's even in there. At least here, I can say like, okay, there's 3 15-foot XLR cables, and just kind of give a whole rundown of everything. This is the reality of trying to edit on a 7-year-old computer, 8-year-old computer. I don't even know how old. Just restarts randomly. So I guess we have to put that on hold for a little bit and get back to listing.
And as annoying as that was, it didn't even compare to this.
So I was just opening up this microphone because I realized that in most of the pictures, people show what's on the inside. And as soon as I did that, this one was working and the wire broke.
Well, I had the tools to fix it, but definitely lacking skills. Because when it comes to soldering, I'm all thumbs.
I was able to get it soldered back in. The worst soldering job of 2024, but hopefully this works. And it's really hard to hold this thing delicately and hold the phone at the same time. But late last night I sold a pair of shorts, and then I also sold one of the cassette players out of the stuff that I bought last week.
So I packed them up, but the sales just kept going. I almost couldn't even keep up.
Today has been very, very busy. Obviously I've been packing up the cassette player, but then also I had like these knockoff Brita filters. They were the wrong size. I got them a long time ago. I only had 2 of the 3 left. Had them laying around forever, and I listed them a while ago. Somebody bought them for $5.99 plus shipping. Then somebody offered me $39 for a coin, which I accepted. I was talking to somebody about one of the Lutron switches, and they seem like a pain in the ass. The lady wound up buying or offering me $42. I'm asking $55, being really annoying. Like, are you going to guarantee that this works? I can't guarantee anything. I said, I'm confident that it works, and if it doesn't work, I'll give you a refund. I mean, I'll let you return it. And then like after I said that, she was like, I'm sorry, I was confused by your answer. If it doesn't work, will you exchange it? And then I sold a board game kind of thing that I got from the thrift store. So he offered me 10, paid 50 cents. Don't really care. Not a bad deal. All right. While I was packaging up that stuff, I also sold these dog frisbees. 3 of them, brand new, $10 plus shipping or something. Paid $1 for it. Not upset. I was just going to put this in a poly bag, but I decided to put some bubble wrap around it. My whole goal is to give the customer as little reason to as possible. So I was thinking about worst case scenario, thinking about, imagine the most annoying person ever. If they open this, what would they say? That's the way I think. I always imagine my customers being very annoying, which is not true, but at least it's good to think like that, because for 10 cents more and 30 seconds of my time, you avoid a lot of the problems.
While I finished packing, my video finished uploading. So with tons of sales and a new video on the horizon, things were going great.
I haven't recorded anything today. I posted yesterday, and it was my monetization video. And this is exactly why I always say, please don't look up my eBay. As you guys know, I've sold like $2,000 between Friday and yesterday. Since then, I haven't had one offer, not even like send offer to buyer, anything like that. You're hurting the content. And I know it's not the majority of you, but every single time I post, it's like I just lose all sales, It is like kind of annoying because, I was on a good track up until 9 o'clock last night. Things I couldn't even keep up with the sales. And now all of a sudden it's just dead in the water, 3 videos in a row now. So I don't know. If it helped, I would have no problem with it, Or if I had stuff that you guys wanted to buy, no issues with it at all. It's just that I don't. I think the analogy is like, imagine I had a physical store and everybody just wanted to hang out and watch what was going on. Well, there'd be no room for customers to buy anything. And I think that's the same thing that's going on. So I appreciate like the support and everything, but it's like not just my actual business, but it's also hurting like the content because I had nothing to film because I'm not selling anything. I'm just waiting for stuff to happen, Like literally nothing changes except for the fact that I post the video. So it's like kind of hard for it to be coincidence. So let me explain a little bit better what actually is happening. If a bunch of people are looking at your listings, but nobody's buying them, you're not converting, eBay thinks that your listings are junk or overpriced or something. So they start moving those down in the search result. And that actually makes sense when you think about it. Normally, if let's say somebody does have a crappy listing, if a bunch of people are looking at it, but they're not buying it, it probably isn't really relevant in the search terms. So they want to move it down. It's not clogging up things that people actually want to buy. So right now it is March 7. And this is the 3rd or 4th time, I don't know exactly, this year that I've left my house for something that was a non-necessity. I went out to dinner with my family. That's what the grind's all about. I took off on Sunday for the first time in like forever, where I like really didn't do anything besides just hang out and chill. And I got way far behind. Yeah, I did YouTube to make my life better, not make my life shit. Only sale all day is that Pinky Loop cooler I got on Mercari, and I forgot I had free shipping. I don't know how much it's going to cost to ship that thing. $24. Hopefully it's not too much money. All right, I am about to go to bed, but I've had 0 sales on eBay today. It's literally every single time I post a video, so I don't know. I'm going to go look at my store traffic and see what it looks like. So I just checked my store traffic. It won't show me now. I think it's like 2 days behind. Let me just show you the last video, and you can see what I'm talking about. If you don't like me, then yeah, go look at my eBay, but I'll just show you. It's kind of frustrating. So February 8th, I posted the month 2 video, and as you can see right here, it's going crazy compared to my normal store traffic. And then you could see like it starts tapering off as the video gets lower. People stop looking it up as much. So I'm over at the storage unit today. This is the first time something's coming out of here. I sold this yesterday on Mercari. Nothing on eBay. I don't know. I just bought all those tokens. I don't like it. Like, I don't want to do that, but it's like, I also don't want to have a YouTube channel that's like costing me money. You know what I mean? Like it. So with the downturn in sales, I was trying to figure out something. So somebody had suggested I should just get like a cheap, easy product that everybody could buy and post that. And I really didn't want to. I didn't know what I could even do. But I went to find these plastic tokens, and I'm like, the gold coin. I'm like, okay, I'll post that. But I really didn't want to. I mean, when I knew it was junk, it was just like, I needed something. Like week 2 and 3 every single month pretty much always suck. And I just don't know what a good solution is. I reached out to eBay for Business earlier today. I don't know if this is something they can like figure out that like, I just feel weird about it. Like I hate merch. I hate like all that kind of stuff. And I just feel stupid about it, but I don't know a better solution. I just don't. Whatever. I just deleted my community post where I was saying like, oh, you could buy them. I don't want to, some people stupid, but the people that actually want the stuff that I'm selling, buy it. I put up the coins. I sold one of them to Caleb Resells. I think his name is, or Caleb Sells. Super nice of him. He was just trying to cheer me up a little bit, but I felt gross about it. So I deleted the link within like an hour. So just like, this is kind of gross, you know? I contacted eBay for Business earlier today. I'm like, yo, can you guys help me out with this? That was before the coins were like an afterthought. I'm like, I need something that people can buy. Long story short, they told me that I'm basically crazy. That's not the case. They looked at my store traffic and blah, 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 and it all looks fine. Because they were telling me earlier that I should share a link. So I'm like, okay, I'll share a link. So then they finished it up by saying, yeah, let us know how it goes. We're curious too. Like, you're curious? I'm coming for you as a fucking experts. I'm coming to you for guidance. So I reached out to eBay for Business. I know I've praised them in the past. First of all, I don't think this guy even knew what he was talking about. But furthermore, of course it's in their best interest to share a link on the surface level. They want to get as many people onto the platform as possible, because even if they don't buy something for me, maybe they'll find something they actually are looking for. Like, oh, I wonder if they could find how much Nike socks are on here. And they'll wind up looking it up and buying from a different seller. Them getting attention to their website only benefits them. And so of course they would want me to share a link just to get people onto the platform and get, you know, so I understand why they said that. But in reality, they're making themselves look bad. This is in their own best interest to help me out. Let's say even 10,000 potential people that want to resell on eBay watch this and they're like, oh, I can't win on eBay because look at this guy. So it's a very like cutting off your nose to spite your face. But the reality is eBay for Business is no help. Honestly, I wouldn't recommend them. They never are really helpful. It's more like asking ChatGPT a question. The other thing is, I used to always ask them for advice on rules and things like that. I'm not going to do anything until you guys tell me. Until recently, one employee will contradict another employee. Like, I don't know why they told you to do that. That's against our rule. So it's a complete waste of time. 90% of the time, it's a headache and it's actually a bigger pain in the than it's worth. Claim that they're trying to help sellers. They're really just trying to protect the eBay as a company. They don't really care about you. How can I, every time I post a video, how can I have thousands of dollars in sales? How can my listings go from, I gotta be the top 3 in mail slots to have one at number 4 and the rest just disappeared off the whole first search page? The only content I can film today is me. I made $100 yesterday off the YouTube and I had 0 sales on eBay. It's frustrating. I don't know why I can't keep them separate. My viewers are not my customers. I realize that, but they don't seem to realize that. And since I posted that link, nothing good's been going on.
But nothing could get worse.
I had a refund request for a breaker that I sold in the beginning of February for $8.99 with free shipping. And I looked at the return request. I thought maybe it was bad or something like that. Even though I test them, you know, it could have been bad. it was the wrong one because in the picture there's multiple, so he thought there were like multiple phases. So anyway, I went back and forth with him for a minute and explained that he needs actually a square D QO220 instead of a square D QO120. And he eventually closed the return, and he was chill about it. So I did give him back $3 anyway after he closed the return. I think that's all the money that eBay actually gave me because it was $8.99 with free shipping. So if somebody's chill, I want to help them out, you know? If somebody's entitled, then I want to fight with them. Then I'm like, I'm not giving you a cent. If somebody's cool about it and they realize like, oh, it was my fault, then I'm not fighting, you know?
So it started off as a great week, ended terribly. I could only hope that week 3 would bring better news. After week 2, I needed things to change quickly. This will be my 3rd full day with 0 sales.
So I just reached out to eBay for Business on Facebook. They are super helpful. Those people are great, but I just don't think they understand what's going on. Sketchy too, because I don't want to be like a dick to them or anything, but I'm like, man, something's going on here, you know? So anyway, the guy told me that he had the team look into it and nothing should be going on, but I'm like, dude, this is like 3 times now, you know? Every single time you see the videos, week 2 and week 3 are just because that's exactly when I post the video. I don't know. I hope we can figure it out. An advocate for eBay. I love it. And I don't want to be like, you know, this is kind of hurting you guys too because it's making it seem like you can't succeed on eBay, even though I know again because I did it when I didn't have any social media presence, you know?
Luckily, later that day, I sold these Zin codes.
10 of them for $15.
But it was just a repeat customer pressing buy again. So sales traffic was still absent. I put my head down and kept my nose to the grindstone as I continued to test, clean, and list the electronics.
Basically, each one of these channels are exactly the same. Each one, the audio starts up here and goes through all of these different sections. So this is one section, basically what increases the raw signal coming in. Then from there, we have an equalizer. There's too much bass in there. You can pull some of that out. Auxiliary send. This is basically going to have a reverb, which is like a loud echo, or a delay, which is a repeated echo. So like, hey, 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 that's a delay, and reverb is a Then you have pan, which is obviously choosing which side of the room you want it to go to, if it's the left or right. And then from there, you just have the faders. How much volume actually want to send to the stereo output. So you can imagine all these channels come here, get summed together, and they come over here and go out the speakers. So all mixing boards are basically exactly the same. They're all just laid out a little bit different.
Until finally,
I sold this Walkman, which doesn't work, for $15 plus shipping.
But a mere $15 sale wasn't making anything better. The next morning,
all right, I just sold these a little while ago.
And a little bit later,
I was kind of busy all day today, grocery shopping and whatnot. I sold 2 decent sized things today. So I sold the last saxophone that I have. The guy offered me $100. I countered $170 plus shipping. He accepted. Also on top of that, I sold this copper wire, which I had stripped in some of my previous videos with all my scrap metal. I've just been saving it forever. I get a little bit at a time, like, you know, pull it out of a garbage can, pull it out of a trash can, pull it out of a dumpster, a couple pounds here and there. So I posted this on eBay. I sold 20 pounds of it for $109 plus shipping. Wow, but you get a lot more on eBay than you do at the scrapyard.
After the previous week, I was super appreciative to finally be making decent sales. So I packed them up and checked off all my bases.
I had all these stickers I put all over this, but really this is what we call cover your ass. Obviously, the guy getting it knows copper wire could be sharp, could be his neighbor opens it, cuts their hand, and then before you know, we're in the McDonald's coffee cup lawsuit, you know?
But better than that, the next morning, this happened.
I woke up this morning and I wound up selling that Behringer mixer, $75 overnight. I think I meant to list it for $100. I don't know what happened, but I listed it for $75. I also had an offer for it on Mercari for $50, but obviously it was already sold and for more money, so whatever. I mean, I could have maybe got 90 out of it in a month versus 75 right now. Who cares? So the other thing was, somebody had made an offer on one of the microphones I listed yesterday. I had it listed for $75. Somebody offered me $55 plus shipping.
It felt like the YouTube traffic had finally died down, and I could get back to that tax season grind. Jackson Hewitt, baby.
Get out of my house and into my storage unit. Man, it is so nice. I've just been listing or draft banking all the big stuff and bringing it over. So just doing some reorganizing today of my shipping supplies. I've been buying a lot more large boxes like I did the other day. I like to have everything on hand. And this should cover majority of the bigger stuff that I do. Newspaper and packing paper. This whole box is full of it. Paper bags, anything like that. I put in this. Up here, these are all my normal Walmart boxes. I said in month 1 that I only want to stick to something that's about like $30 and up. And that is typically true. But I am targeting things in the lots, but whatever's in there is getting sold. So a perfect example. This is where some of the cables came in. It had nothing to do with what I was actually targeting. It's getting sold. If it was worth $10, it will be getting sold. It doesn't matter. There's other stuff in there. Anything that can be sold will at least try to be sold. I'm not targeting things that are below $10, but if that's just the nature of what it is and it's something that came with the lot, I'm going to try to sell it. I'm going to try to get as much value out of that lot as humanly possible. I just sold another particular type of doorknob, but they're these closet and hallway Venetian bronze levers. I have 20 of them right here, and then there was 5 on top of that. So I listed the 5 individually, and I've had the 20 in a lot forever. But they've been selling really, really good on their own individually. Delete some of the lot listings and just put them up as individual pieces.
The next day I had to finish testing the cables, because even though they were just a byproduct, they'd still stack up some decent change.
So I'm just going through and testing out all these 1/4-inch cables like this. I'll show you kind of what I have going on. But this is reminding me of like the dream I always had to build a music studio, and I'm kind of wondering if I should keep some of this stuff. Not all of it, but certainly some of these like 1/4-inch cables, because they don't sell for a lot, but they're pretty expensive to buy. And then also these claves, I think they only sell for like $10. So I still have my Korg Micro, which it seemed like the perfect fit because I have to go out of a 1/4-inch into a 1/4-inch to make sure the cable works. And this seems like the easiest way to achieve that. So
And right as I was doing that,
sales have been fairly slow. But with that being said, I just sold the first thing out of all that security telecom stuff, but it was $156 for basically for like wire connection kind of things. It's over at the storage unit, but I just got over here. This was super easy to find.
Alrighty, getting ready to ship this. Brand new, as you can see.
so I packed it up.
For stuff like this, that's something I will use free shipping on. It's small. It's not going to be expensive to ship, and the item is super expensive. It's probably going to cost me $5 to ship it. Who cares? Lunchbox I sold the other day just landed or delivered yesterday, and the lady rated me 4 stars. My first non-5-star review on Mercari, and she put in their item description. When I looked at the item description, actually, I think it made it look worse than it was. I said it has scuffs and scratches, and there's various photos of all of them. Plus, there was $24 for free shipping. It cost me $13 to set it to her using Pirate Ship. Pain in the ass. Kind of a busy day today. I obviously sold those telecom parts earlier. Then I don't know if I captured it on camera, but I sold 40 ZIN codes for $70. The guy was kind of cool last time, but he told me that one of the codes wasn't working. I don't know if I got all that on camera. Could have been legitimate, but we'll see this time, because this is the only guy that's ever said that to me. I gave him a one for free last time, but then I just sold another microphone out of that box for $35 plus shipping. It's like a ham radio kind of microphone. I'm going to go pack it up now. Alrighty, got this all wrapped up. I'm not going to go super tight with it. It's going to float in some packing paper anyway. All right, so I had a couple small sales today so far. A pair of shorts for $10 and a broken cassette player for $25, both of them obviously plus shipping. So I just sold this. It's a paper towel dispenser. I got it for free. I was gonna put it up in my bathroom.
But while I packed that up,
The guy that bought all those ZIN codes from me yesterday messaged me, and I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna tell me that nothing worked. He's like, everything worked, and I was like, thanks, man, glad to hear. He just wound up buying 30 more from me for $50, I think. So it just goes to show you, me giving away that one thing and not being a pain in the ass about it, even though I was a little skeptical. Look how much extra business.
but that night I got nearly no sleep.
That 5 hours of sleep that I got last night did me no favors today. Went to bed at like normal midnight, maybe a little bit after, and was up at 5 o'clock, and I had no idea why. But as soon as I'm up, I can't go back to bed. So now it's 8 o'clock at night. Didn't really do much at all today. I was just like, I'm just dog. Only one sale today too. I sold these Corel coffee cups on Mercari, $15 plus shipping. So I got to get them wrapped up, 4 of them. And the Corel stuff does do pretty well, but it just is a really takes a long time. There we go. I probably wouldn't do this with circuit breakers or doorknobs, but I'm selling Corel stuff.
A slow ending to the week. But after week 2, I couldn't complain. I'd only hope that week 4 would make up for it. Week 4 started off great.
I sold 2 of the telecom parts. One was $30 free shipping. The other one was $39 free shipping. They're both going to the same place. Being said, I have to go get that from the storage unit. And luckily this morning I listed a bunch of stuff, so I can drop that off at the storage unit. And back over here, just pulled out the order.
And after that, I decided to hit the thrift store to see if there was anything good. And I'm glad I did, because
But look at all this stuff I got. champion sweatpants. Now, I don't know if anybody's bought sweatpants in the last 4 years, but even at Walmart, sweatpants are like $20. So I'm like, dude, I would wear these. They're in nice shape. Get them. I don't know how much they are. But then I saw the sign and they were $1 each. And I'm like, oh, for $1 each, dude, I'll take like everything I can. So then I'm grabbing a bunch of them. But long story short, I came down there with all the stuff under my arm. I was like, oh man, I took all the sweatpants you have. And like all the thrift store ladies, they really like me for the most part. I'm always like super nice to them and stuff. And that's the reason why I don't want to film in there or look stuff up. But I mean, these are like really nice old church ladies. I said, I got all the sweatpants you have up there, I think. It's a good deal or something like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, oh, you didn't see we have a bag sale. So if you fill up a bag, it's $5. And I didn't have a bag or anything, but she was just like, all right, $5. My armload constituted that bag.
And then it was time to get to work packing up the telecom parts. And right as I did that,
so I just made this mini box for this light switch I sold. $50 plus shipping roughly.
the next day I had a wild idea.
St. Patrick's Day today. Figuring sales are going to be somewhat slow anyway. The whole reason I'm doing YouTube, and I think I said this in my first month's video, is like I want to be able to take bigger risks. I want to be able to try and like just see how it goes. I like being the guinea pig for stuff and like letting other people see what happens. I just put everything 20% off today only, ends tomorrow. There's some stuff I'm gonna, if it does sell, I probably would have been better off not doing, but I just want to see what happens. Think it'll be a fun thing to try. All right, so we had our first sale of the sale. Pringles container sold for $15 with free shipping.
But then later on,
I've had only one other sale. It was a breaker. I'll go get that packed up. But I have a lot of people, a lot of new watchers, but it's like, dude, I'm not sending you an offer on top of that.
and while I packed that up,
Sold another Pringles container, so I'm going to rock that up while I'm up here as well.
and then later that night,
All right, so the subwoofer just sold. That came in that first audio lot that I bought. Sold for $107, which I already had it priced pretty well. But whatever, I'm not trying to be like too bloated. So that's another big thing that I really try to remind myself of. Stop thinking about how much you could have got for something. And $1 today is way better than $2 tomorrow for the most part, or $2 a year from now. My goal is to make money and turn over inventory, you know? But I have gotten a little bit bloated with stuff. So
and at this point, we were about halfway through the sale, and I came to this conclusion.
all right. So the one annoying thing is that a lot of people haven't bought anything, but they all added it to their watch list. And I don't know if they know the time restraint. Like there's no way to say like today only. So I was thinking about it. And I'm like, the way I might utilize that. So the sale's ending tomorrow or Tuesday. What I might do is send an offer to those watchers with 20% off. Just like one last chance at the sale. Hopefully that'll convert them.
The next morning, the sale was nearly over, and with about average sales,
But I'm going to call that a flop. And I think a lot of the reason why is it didn't have a sense of urgency. Like this is over with. I don't think I really sold anything more than I would have sold regardless. And the stuff that did sell is stuff that probably would have sold anyway.
but literally, as soon as it ended,
Sales just ended. And I've had 2 sales since then. And all this stuff was on sale. And now people are paying full price. The guy that's been buying a bunch of Zyn codes from me recently just bought like, I don't even know how many, for $87, but he could have gotten the discount plus 20% yesterday, or even up until like an hour ago. Then I sold those Ubiquity antenna mounts that I'm going to have to pick up from the storage unit. So I'll get those while I'm there.
nuts. Now I needed to ship the subwoofer, but it was already in the box, so all I'd have to do was bring a label with me to the storage unit and then drop it off at UPS.
So I brought the label with me and we'll tape it up and
But then this happened.
that. I ripped the label and I was trying to peel out this. Gosh damn. Luckily with that app, and they had the last 10 records saved, so it just took me 3 seconds. So not a big deal, but I had to come back a mile the wrong direction.
Later that night,
I sold a microphone on Reverb for like $30 plus shipping, so we got to go get that wrapped up. This is the microphone that's sold. It's not a product I would say everybody should sell in, but if you know about them or if you have the ability to test them, because like this, for example, takes an unbalanced 1/4-inch input. Not everybody knows about this kind of stuff or has the ability to have like a sound card that can accept that kind of thing. You know, you might have a 1/4-inch input, but it only takes line level outputs. This is unbalanced, basically the same way that something would come out of a guitar, which is different than what comes out of like a keyboard, even though they have the same output. Some of them are worth really good money. It's actually a really good score. I didn't realize all those things were in there.
and right after that,
I've had this guy that's bothered me like 3 times about this Game Boy Color that I had when I was a little kid. I had it listed for like $80. It turns on, but I couldn't test it with the game, so I don't know if it really works, blah, 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 blah. He keeps offering me $40 for it multiple days in a row. I finally just accepted it.
So I packed that up, and then the next day,
Man, so the guy that keeps buying all these Zin codes from me, I really appreciate him. I mean, he buys a lot. I don't know. But at the same time, he is the only person I've ever dealt with that had issues with them. He had one the first time. Now this time he has an issue with two of them. And I was just like, dude, I think you're entering them twice because I've never had an issue yet. But it's like kind of a touchy thing because like I know it's a him problem. I can't be I've sold 600 others, not one single problem from. They all came from me. They haven't seen the light of day. It's got peeled off right there. It's like a delicate thing because he spends a lot of money with me. So,
and as frustrating as that was, things were about to take a way crazier turn.
A 1960 synthesizer, and then trip for 9 hours.
look what I'm doing. Cleaning 1970s mixing boards right now with rubbing alcohol. Right as I heard that. I don't know if any of you guys can hear my breathing. No, I haven't done anything. I'm just having a mini heart attack, panic attack right now. So did this brand deal, which hopefully you'll see in month 3. And I asked one of my friends about it, but I had already been signing up for their payment thing where you have to input all your personal information, which makes sense because they need to 1099 you. Same thing you do with eBay, same thing you do with everything. But he was just like, what? He's like, I don't know. Let me look into it. I think you might be getting frauded. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, I gave Stripe my banking information, and I'm like, they might have access to it, and now my social security number too. Pretty good. I looked into it really, really extensively first, but it doesn't matter. I mean, man, I'm still feel sick to my stomach like I got my identity stolen. So the thing is, they made me sign up for a Stripe account. Seems legitimate, that's how they pay you, you know? And through Stripe, I had to link my bank account and give them my social security number. Again, all things that are on the surface are legitimate, but jokes on them. What are they going to get? I mean, I don't know. I feel like I want to puke right now. It's just man, it's so easy to get my anxiety going. Oh, I feel sick to my stomach. Jeez. Man, I'm lightheaded. But luckily, my friend, he was the one that freaked me out, and then he was the one that made it better. He's like, no, I looked into it, and I logged in through their website. I didn't click the link. And number 3, on top of that, I logged into Stripe and directly, which I know Stripe is a real company. So all those things combined made me feel a lot better about it. But there's problems in this world that you're not prepared for.
Yeah, that freaked me out. But I had to shake it off because...
Oh, I just sold this towel bar. These aren't the bars. These are just connectors. But I'm going to try to make some sort of a custom box for it because I don't think I have anything that will actually fit it. I'm going to get on wrapping this up. $30 plus shipping. I got it for free. It's used. It was scrap. But I'm like, this is way too nice. Just throw away.
So I packed it up, but I had no idea what was in for me the next morning.
That Lutron control board I sold a month ago, the buyer is claiming that they ordered it by mistake. I guess because I had returns turned on, they just automatically accepted it. Man, that is shit though. It was a month ago. And that's another good reason to clean out your eBay account as quick as you can because I have $400 on hold right now. This is not coming out of my bank account. Kind of pissed at that.
Even though this was a $400 hit, I had to change my mindset to avoid harping over it all day.
So I was real stressed out about that, and I still kind of am. But 2 things. Number 1, at least eBay is not taking money out of my bank account. It's only against future sales. And then number 2, the guy has to send it back before anything. If he doesn't send it back in the same condition, then I can fight it. Man, what's going on today? The guy that works for the village just showed up out of nowhere and was like, hey, I need to replace your water meter in the basement. He has to come in and seal it. It's stuff everywhere. It's just geez. I was like such a hoarder. Embarrassing, but I don't know what's going on today. I should have stayed in bed. My house is in shambles. I don't know where anybody's stopping by. Now I had Jehovah's Witnesses stop by to talk to me. Nice, I'll talk to her. I'll talk to anybody. But I got work to do. We have a return going on. I have that panic attack still. I don't know if my identity was stolen.
But then on top of all that,
I don't know what's wrong with the guy that buys all this info. And he messaged me and he's like, hey, you can only send me 50 when there's supposed to be 60. I'm like, no, dude. Look, you can only send 5 pictures at a time. There's one single picture of 10 by itself.
But then finally, some good news.
Well, maybe today isn't all bad. My YouTube money for the previous month just hit. God damn it. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Something I learned a long time ago because I've always, most of my life, I was 1099. What I'm about to do right now is I'm going to go and pay as many possible bills as I can. When your income is very unstable and all over the place, number 1, you need to be on a budget. But the other thing is when you do get money, pay all your bills as quick as you can so that you can spend it on anything else. So the VCR that I got out of that electronics lot, there was a guy that contacted me a while ago. I had tested it originally. It powered up. It fast forwarded, rewound, stop, everything worked, but I can't test it. I can't plug it into a TV. And he was asking if I could test it and let a video run for a long time. And I just kind of ignored them because I was like, dude, I don't know anything about VCRs. I don't know if it works. This is what I was able to get it to do, but I'm just not going to dick around with it. It already has like 11 watchers on eBay, 5 on Mercari. It was asking $150. I'm like, somebody's got a fucking thing. Somebody wants it. So he sent me an offer for $100, and I was just like, and I messaged him and I'm like, listen, dude, like I would probably sell it for 100 right now, but I don't want to deal with returns. Cheaper for me to throw it out than you get it for 100 and me have to pay to get it back. I'm like, so I don't know if it works. I know it does power up. I know it does fast forward. I know all that. That's kind of where we're at. So if you're okay with that, I'll take the offer. He finally eventually was like, yeah, that's fine.
So I got that all packed up.
It is the last day of the month, and usually the last day goes well, but today's not. Oh, shoot. Thought I sold these, but I grabbed the wrong package. But with that being said, the lady that sold me the faucets in month 1 posted a bunch more stuff on Facebook, and I had actually bought them. I talked to her the other day. I don't think I filmed myself talking about it because I didn't know if I was 100% going to do it, but I went there this morning and bought it, so I'll show you what I got.
And look at all the stuff I got. 4 Delta faucets, 2 of these Season brand faucets, 4 smoke detectors, and for everything I paid $60.
It's a really nice lady. Every single one of my customers, every single person I bought from pretty much quite a bit of repeat.
I had to go right back to the storage unit and get the right part. I came home, packed it up, and right as I finished, this happened.
Some guy bought that Game Boy from me the other day, said, got it, it powers up, but the buttons aren't working. So my description very, very clearly said, powers up, but I haven't been able to test because I don't have any game. I told him that, and he's like, yeah, but still, it's not working. It's exactly what I said. He's like, they only sell for $10. I sold it for $40. I just looked up. They consistently sell for $50 to $60. So I said, how about a return? Because he was asking me to give him back everything but $10 plus shipping. Just entitled scumbag people. Thing is, the reason why that got me so fired up had nothing to do with the transaction itself, but it just is like, I just can't believe you can look yourself in the mirror and know you don't stick to your word. We all made a deal based on these terms. Everybody was aware of everything, and because things didn't go exactly your way, you have no principles. The real word I want to use is you don't have a set of. In this series, you've seen things not go my way quite a few times where I've got the short end of the stick in transaction, but I was always stuck to my word. I don't care what it is. I'd rather take an L than look myself in the mirror and say, yeah, I know I agreed to that, but since I didn't work out my favor, I'm going to go back on it. And that's exactly what's wrong with this country. When you make a deal with somebody, you stick to what you agreed.
Yeah, that was frustrating. But later on that night,
so I just sold this crystal knob for $5. Man, that certainly makes up for the $450 I've lost over the last 2 days. Wish I could end this month 2 days ago. You know, last month I ended off on why I love eBay, but this month I'm going to end off on why I hate eBay. I definitely cowered and tried to compete with Amazon, and Amazon doesn't make money by selling product. They make money by their valuation, selling off stock, but we are not selling off stock. There's no investors. There's nobody to sell our business to, because all they're trying to do is get more users on their platform. They don't care about how much money, how much revenue or net profit is actually coming in. Us as eBay sellers, we're not doing that. eBay as a platform itself should be looking at its sellers, because without its sellers, it has nothing. I had to offer this guy a return. I probably didn't have to, but I knew that if I didn't, eBay was going to have a problem with it. Even though I described it as accurately and honestly as possible, this guy was upset with the transaction. And the thing is, like, most people, when you point out that it was their up, they're like man enough to realize it. This guy wasn't. So that's the one thing I hate, is the buyer takes no responsibility for anything. Oh, I didn't know. No personal responsibility. I saw a drill to a roofer. They have 30 days to drop it off a roof before I have to give them a brand new one. Why is that? I have to offer warranties for a minimum of 30 days.
Funny enough, as soon as I got done bashing eBay,
a little bit better news, I just sold a cassette player from the audio lot I bought this month for everything. I think the guy paid $100. It's probably going to cost me $20 to ship it.
And it didn't just stop there.
I got an offer on Mercari for a toy that I got from my friend, some Halo toy. It's upstairs. I can go ship it.
And right as I went to go pack that,
apparently I sold 5 more doorknobs for $60. So I don't know what the total is, but it's better than nothing.
So the packing kept me late into the night, but after all the bumps and bruises the last 2 days gave me, I needed it.
Now for the results. So after everything, paying for shipping, fees, inventory, the refund, I made $1,948.43. This is obviously my best month to date, but that's not all the money I made. I have YouTube as well. These particular videos don't fall during months, but most of this video took place in March. So I'll just tell you In March altogether, I made just under $5,000 for everything. I didn't have any sponsors, but YouTube AdSense and reselling. That's how much I made. I just checked QuickBooks. So yeah, I'm not starving. I'm doing okay, you know? So that's why I'm like, don't super thanks me or anything like that. Like, I'm doing fine. Everything's good. It just so happens that the byproduct, which is the story, is more profitable than the actual reselling itself. Now, with that being said, YouTube does take away from my reselling time. Obviously, the time commitment is huge, as we've seen, but then also just having all the attention slows down my sales every month for at least a week. And the crazy thing is, if I would have stopped one day prior, so if I would have, instead of going for 4 weeks exactly, if I would have went to 27 days, my total would have been 2176.25. But all those returns cost me $200 in the last day. So with that being said, I will go over how all those refunds turned out. Even though you'll probably see this in month 5. So the Lutron, I gave that guy back 60% of his money. I felt bad, but I got it back open and it was brand new. I sold it to him for $400 plus shipping. I relisted it for $200 and I gave him back $220. So I am losing like $20 on it because I just felt bad about the situation. But his employee opened it and probably installed it somewhere, like that, when they realized, like, oh, we don't need it for this project, so I'm just gonna stick it back in the box. I can't resell it for $400. Number 2 was the Game Boy. That guy was annoying, but I accepted his return and I wound up selling it again, not even a couple weeks later, for an additional $10 on top of what he paid. So that covered a lot of the cost. I believe that's it. But with that being said, realize the agita of it is just not worth. I've been honestly just accepting all returns. At this point, I'm not even fighting with anybody. I don't care. I don't want the headache more than I don't want to lose $10, you know? So, yeah, that's the other thing too. People are like, how are you surviving? Like, I figure that most people would know. If you're doing, you know, hundreds of thousands of views, doing okay. The reality is too, is like, I'm getting by for now. I don't know that's going to work out forever. You know, I'll get a different job if it doesn't work out. And then the other thing is too, but I'm not spending any of my money, so don't give me any suggestions on what I should do. The reality is when you're self-employed and when you have really high ebbs and flows, you have to be very fiscally conservative. And obviously that $5,000 is what I'm going to pay tax on, so I had to take out money for that. But yeah, my lifestyle has not increased one bit yet. It's not going to. Yeah, I think if it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't have quote unquote survived. But at the same time, I might have also changed the trajectory of my reselling. It's just that like I'm back and forth between these two things. I wanted the YouTube to be a fly on the wall. I don't want you guys to affect me negatively, but I also don't want you to affect me positively. Like as far as like buying stuff from me, that kind of ruins it. If the YouTube does sort of downtrend, then I'm just honestly, I would stop doing it because it does take up, I'd be stupid not to. Like it does take up a ton of time. So I have to put my time into things that are actually profitable. But as long as you guys like them, I'll keep making them. And that's the reason why I wanted to go help other people too, is because like obviously I'm making money off of YouTube. So if I'm able to benefit from that, but then at the same time also help and inspire and show different perspectives, like look at this guy lives in Billings, Montana, but we were able to figure out this. That sounds like a lot of fun to me, you know? So it's a win-win for all involved. The issue with that is, though, in complete honesty, is they're very expensive videos to shoot, and I couldn't personally like afford to do it myself. So I am going to need to line up sponsors to make that, if I do make that happen. I mean, think about it. For me to fly out somewhere, even in Spirit, stay in a Days Inn and rent a Corolla for, you know, a week. Do the math on that. It gets expensive quick. And I mean, that's before I even put a bite of food in my mouth. You know what I mean? That's just me getting there and sleeping.